Hey guys, my name is Ariel. I'm here to talk to you about abortion. I'm just gonna go ahead and apologize now. My webcam zooms really far in on this computer, and I'm not quite sure why, and I don't know how to zoom out. So I apologize for the up close um image of my face. Um, but anyways, um, abortion is a really common thing in America nowadays. And if you don't know exactly what abortion is the termination of a pregnancy of a child within the womb of a woman. Most of the time, these are because of unplanned pregnancies or rapes are common as well. Um, okay, here I have some facts and statistics. Almost half of pregnancies are unintended, and 4 out of 10 unintended pregnancies are terminated through abortion. And these combined means about 22 of U.S. pregnancies end in abortion. For me, that is a really sad statistic. I would never want any child to go unloved and to not have a future, and so that's really heartbreaking for me to hear that 22 out of 22% out of 100, 22 people out of 100 might have an abortion. That's just crazy to me. 85% of abortions are performed on unmarried women, so that leaves 15% of abortions for married women. 36.6% of abortions are performed on women who have previously had one or two abortions, and 46.3% of women previously had one or two live births. So that means basically that 46.3% of women have previously had one or two children. Maybe they don't have enough money to afford another child, or they were raped, or something went wrong for them not to want to have a third child, or even a second child, or maybe more. But 46.3% of women who have abortions have previously had one or two live births. Also, 40% of minors report that neither parent knew about the abortion that they had. That is really heartbreaking for me. Just imagine your child not telling you that they got rid of what could have been your future grandson or granddaughter. That is just crazy for me. I can't even imagine what that feels like and how heartbreaking that could be. And the saddest part is that the parents may never know ever, and that's what hurts the most for me. But 35 out of our 50 U.S. states require that parental consent is needed to have an abortion, and South Carolina is one of those states, so that is a great thing. Um, in 2008, 12 women passed away from legal abortions, and that's not including the women who passed away from illegal abortions, which could which is unknown. I mean, we're not sure how many that could be. There's plenty of unreported ones, I'm sure, but that's insane. 12 women passed away from abortion. Like that's a lot. Um, the average cost of a non-hospital abortion, which would be in a clinic, with anesthesia at 10 weeks, is $451, and that is in 2009. So the price could have or could not have gone up from then. That's crazy to me. That's really intense. $451. That's just crazy. But I guess that's not as much as you would be spending on a child who if you had, if you gave birth to, you're obviously going to be spending a lot more than $451. So if maybe you could afford a child and you could only afford to have an abortion, maybe that would be the right path for you. But I would recommend that you give the child up for adoption and give it a chance to have a life and just a chance to be loved. But 9 in 10 women are at risk of unintended, oh, excuse me, 9 out of 10 women at risk of unintended pregnancies are using a contraceptive method such as birth control. Um, Basically, what that means is 9 out of 10 women who aren't planning on having children are using birth control. The other 10%, I guess it would be, are not using birth control but are not wanting to get pregnant. 8% of women having abortions have never used birth control. This percentage could partially be rapes, they could be people who just weren't planning on being involved with somebody and something just happened or anything like that. But 8% of women having abortions have never used birth control. Um, Here I have pros and cons of abortion. And one of the pros is that parenthood begins at birth and not at contraception. Excuse me, at conception. Basically, what that means is that a lot of people believe that the child is not a child until it is born, comes, until it is birthed and is out of the womb. But many other people believe that as soon as the child is conceived, that it is a child and it is personhood is begun, and that's that. The Supreme Court, the U.S. Supreme Court, believes that it is a fundamental right, and that the women have that right to have an abortion, and that's their decision. Um, a lot of anti-abortion is based on religious beliefs, such as like Christianity. We don't believe in murder or abortion or anything like that. And a lot of that is because of religious beliefs, a lot of anti-abortion protests and such. There's another pro that modern abortions are safe, which I do believe that modern abortions are much safer now than they were back in the day. But as we saw previously in 2008, 12 women did pass away from legal abortion that went wrong and caused death. And the next pro is that it gives couples the option not to bring babies with severe medical conditions to full term. And basically, what that means is you can have tests run on your fetus and during ultrasounds and such, and you can see if your child is going to have any disabilities. Fragile X syndrome occurs in 1 out of 4,000 boys and 1 out of 8,000 girls, and 1 out of 800 children have Down syndrome, and 1 out of every 3,500 babies have cystic fibrosis. These can be detected in ultrasounds and such. When my mom was pregnant with my younger brother, she had an ultrasound, and the doctor told her that he thought that my brother might have Down syndrome, and he asked her if she would like to abort, and she said absolutely not, that she was going to have birth to this baby no matter what, that that was what God wanted, and that was that. And so she chose not to abort, and he ended up not having Down syndrome. But I can understand people not being prepared, people not knowing what to do. But I'm sure that somebody out there would be willing to adopt your child and give it the love and care that you might not be able to. Cons of abortion. People believe that after 10 weeks, that fetuses can feel pain, and they believe that it's severe and extreme. It is also killing a human being. Um, the next con is that women should be using contraceptives if they are having sex and if they are sexually active, which I completely understand that, but maybe you were raped or something did go wrong. So that would not be your fault, but I still believe that you should have your child and give it up for adoption and cause it and excuse me and allow it to have a family and be loved in its future. Um, a con is that it can cause psychological damage having an abortion. 100 excuse me Women are 154 more times more likely to commit suicide if they have an abortion. That's insane. That's just crazy to me. Um, And if women or couples are trying to have a baby and they can't, or something's going wrong, maybe they got married and they're a little old to have children, but they would really love to have a child, and they might love to adopt, and they can't have children, and so abortion is preventing those people from getting adoptable babies. On this next slide here, I have photos of this photo right here is a child at 8 weeks after conception, and then here is 10 weeks. Oh, excuse me, this is 6 weeks, and this is 8 weeks. This here is 10 weeks, which I believe that is when abortion should be stopped. After 10 weeks, you should not be able to have an abortion anymore. And this photo right here is at 12 weeks. Oops. This next slide is my view on abortion, and I believe that if a killer can be charged with 2 counts of murder, if they kill a pregnant woman, then it should be perfectly illegal to not have an abortion, or, excuse me, to have an abortion, and that nobody should be able to have an abortion unless they are raped. And if you are raped, I believe that you must request through law to have your abortion before 10 weeks, or excuse me, before 10 weeks, directly after conception, and you must have legal proof and of your rape. And if you do not have proof, and I know it may be hard to get proof, I know that may be difficult, but if you do not have proof, I believe that you must set up an adoption or you must keep the child. That's just my view on the subject. I know that not everybody feels the same way. And I know that this is a very sensitive topic, but if you feel like you need to discuss anything with me, feel free to get in contact with me. You can either email me through my Central Carolina email, or you can comment on a discussion board or anything like that. Here I have my works cited. Here we have my works cited page, so you can um, get in. You can see where I got my information from. Thank you so much for listening. I know that I spoke a lot and I definitely went over my 10-minute mark, but thank you so much for listening. And I hope that if you do believe that abortion is correct, that you strongly consider what you're agreeing to, and that you consider the option of adoption, and that it really is a great thing. Thank you so much.